Guys, I really don't understand what happened last week in RLCS for the Middle East region. It's one of the strangest things I've seen happen in RLCS easily. And people need to talk about it more. It's not getting talked about enough in my eyes. Also, guys, I'm still looking for just 10 players who want to get that GC or SSL title in the next 6 weeks. If you didn't know, I'm now the head coach of Rocket League's #1 live coaching program, the Grand Champ Roadmap. And inside, we take gold through champ players up to GC or even SSL in just 6 weeks or less. So if you want to join the now over 2,200 players who have used this program to rank up, DM me on Discord with the keyword 10 and I'll send you the details. First link in the description, guys. Enjoy the video. The Middle East region has one spot for a team from their region to compete at LAN. Now, there's two top teams in the region, Rule 1 and Falcons, and when you have two top teams competing for one spot, things get a little bit messy. I'm going to be showing the recent grand finals in the background of this video just to have a little bit of, something showing whilst I talk about this. But in the first two tournaments of the split, guys, Falcons won. They got 40 points combined, 20 points from each regional. And the second place team was no other than Rule 1, who got 16 points for each regional, getting them about, 32 points on the nose. Now, 32 to 40, obviously going into the last regional, Rule 1 need to get 8 points over Falcons. They need to place better than them, enough to get them 8 points, right? The only way to do that is to outplace them by 2 placements in the playoffs. Obviously, if Falcons lost in the group stage and Rule 1 made playoffs and, got to the semis, maybe that would have done it. But if Falcons made the quarterfinals, Rule 1 have to win the tournament if they want to outplace them in terms of points. If they get second place, they would force a tiebreaker because both teams would be on the same points, and then they would play another series, and that's where, they might have a chance. But basically, they can't let Rule 1 get to the grand finals. That's all they need to do. Now, with this format, guys, as you can see on screen, the top 2 seeds of the tournament go into 2 separate groups. And if, obviously, all goes as planned in the tournament, the top 2 seeds get top of their group like they should, then the 2 top seeds won't play each other until finals. Now, this is a very big issue for Rule 1 because they need to beat Falcons before they get to the finals. They need someone to knock them out. And they don't have faith in the other Middle Eastern teams to do that because Falcons, they don't lose to the other teams. They barely lose to this team, right? So they want to match them earlier on in the tournament to have a chance of knocking them out. Now, to do that, you have to get second in your group. So a lot of conversation was going on before the tournament. Should Rule 1, throw a match on purpose, to get second in their group, to match Falcons earlier on in the playoffs and knock them out, win the tournament, make the major. It's all, it's all well and good making these plans, but it's against the rules. Obviously, the rules state that you have to compete every match at your best ability. Something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's along those lines. We have the rule book, actually, and I might put something on the screen to show it what it exactly says. But it's something like that, right? So they can't throw. They can't just purposely lose, without making it, too obvious. It's going to be impossible. Now, this situation is so weird. The team, has 2 players living in the same house. They're twins, and you can obviously disconnect your internet if you really wanted to, and both players would be forced to leave the match, and it would leave one player in the lobby. And before their final match of the group stage, if they lose this, they get second in their group, if I'm not wrong. If they win this, they obviously get first. And if they get first, that's not what they want because it puts Falcons in one side of the bracket and Rule 1 in the other side. And those teams can only play in the finals of the tournament. And at the point, if they get to the finals, both teams, then Falcons have made the major and Rule 1 haven't. Obviously, that's not what their aim is. Now, this is where it gets a bit odd. Rule 1 start the match. Sorry, they don't start the match. They go to start the match, their final match. They need to lose this to get second place. Win, they get first. The match isn't starting, and the players can't join. They're having internet issues. The two twins, you know, living in the same place, they're having internet issues. Maybe they have internet issues a lot. I don't know. It's very, you know, strangely timed. And I'm not here to make a judgment, you know, or an assessment on whether they meant to do it or not, because that's not fair. But if it's a coincidence, it's a crazy coincidence. That's what I will say. And the DQ timer, the rules of the DQ timer state that each team has 8 minutes for their player or players to get back into the lobby after a disconnect happens. That's what the rules state. You can see it on screen. After 8 minutes, if the players aren't in, the team forfeits one game of the series. For example, if the score was 1-0, they would forfeit a game and it would be 1-1. After 7 minutes of the DQ timer, after 7 out of 8 minutes that they have, the players join back, game 1 starts, rule 1 win. They're playing at full capacity, they're playing very, very well. They destroy the other team and they win the first game, sorry. Game 2 starts, a goal goes in for rule 1, kickoff happens, and the players disconnect. 1 minute is left on the timer. If 7 out of 8 minutes were gone by, the admin stated that 1 minute is left on the timer, and the players disconnect in game 2, which starts the 1 minute timer. The 1 minute obviously goes by, and rule 1 officially forfeit a game. The admin says so in the chat, as you guys can see. 1-1 in the series. Supposedly, after 3 minutes, the team has to forfeit the match if the player or players aren't back in, right? They have to forfeit the match. The admin states so. He also says things like there's 2 minutes and 10 seconds left, and he even says there's 10 seconds left. The team has 10 seconds left to get the players back into the lobby or they forfeit the series. 10 seconds goes by, and the admin hasn't said anything. And a minute goes by, and 2 minutes goes by. The admin still hasn't said anything. 16 minutes and 30 seconds go by. The admin still hasn't said anything. And the 2 disconnected players rejoin the lobby. And the admin says, both teams, are they ready to start? Both teams agree they're ready to start. And they start the match. The admin says that if the players want to check their Discord channels for, you know, added info on what's just happened in the scenario, then they feel free to do so. And yeah, the players can, I don't know what was said in the Discord, but clearly something happened, right? The admins said that there was 10 seconds left on the entire disqualification timer. The team was technically disqualified and then brought back. Now, I don't know if it was, I don't know why, but I guess they knew the implications of the match. If obviously Rule 1 disconnected and got disqualified, that affects the group standings, that affects the playoff bracket, that affects potentially who goes to the major, and it, you know, there's going to be a lot of conversation around that if it really did affect something in the long run. Now, again, not making this video to say that the team tried to disconnect on purpose, because in my eyes, if they did, I think fair enough, complete fault of the format, complete fault that Middle East only have one spot. Pros agree with me, pros have said the same thing, it's silly, and I would not even blame them if they tried to do something like that. I don't think anyone should. I think it's the fault of the system and not the players or the team. So I'm not here to make an assessment on whether they did. I think it is a coincidence that they did it at a very perfect time. But again, I don't know if the players have disconnect issues a lot. I know that Middle Eastern players in general do. So potentially those players themselves do too. But all I will say is that I think it's very odd, very strange that this happened. A team got disqualified. We see the admin saying they have 10 seconds left on the disqualification timer, and it's just voided. And there's been no like public statement regarding it. I've like just so strange. so strange, and it doesn't affect anything in the long run. Falcons go on, sorry, Rule 1 go on to win the series. They play the series out at their best abilities. They annihilate the team in the next 2 games. No discredit to the other team, but Rule 1 are simply better. They played like it. They won the series. They topped their group. And that means that Falcons and Rule 1 are on the opposite side of the bracket. Falcons have to make grand finals, and they do so. They make the major. Rule 1 actually win the tournament. Finally, they failed to do so in the previous 2 regionals, and they won this one. Fair play to them. Congratulations. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get to the major because Falcons had a first, second results-wise in the split, and Rule 1 had second, first. And obviously, first, second is just better. They make the major, and so nothing's really happened. Nothing's really changed. But guys, I need to know, am I crazy? I don't think I am. You guys can call me crazy. Am I crazy in thinking that this is a little bit of a bigger deal than what it's made out to be? I've seen conversations surrounding the fact that, you know, did Rule 1 try to, you know, disconnect on purpose? I don't care about that. I don't think that's the topic of conversation. I think the topic of conversation is why on earth would why on earth as an esport would we disqualify a team? Literally said it in chat. You have 10 seconds and then it just goes back. It just seems completely... I think it's wrong. I really do. But maybe I'm overreacting. You know, I didn't want to... I really don't want people to take this video the wrong way. I'm just trying to provide, you know... I just want to make it a bit public, because I think that if we want to get better as an esport... Great goal, by the way. If we want to get better as an esport, there's got to be more transparency. I'd like, you know... I would have loved for there to be more of a conversation surrounding this on everyone's side, you know, on Sarnix's side. If they did this on purpose, why, you know? Was there a public statement made that I didn't see? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, guys. It's a little bit odd. This game should be running down. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this situation, and I really want to know. I think it's very odd, as you guys are aware. I've said that multiple times, and I think that we need a little bit more conversation surrounding it from you know, Sarnix's part. I don't think it was, you know, handled correctly, but maybe the decision in the end was right, as long as there was something said to back it up and back the reason why. But for now, we're left in the dark. But obviously, there's no end result that is bad. You know, it's worked out as it should, really. And Falcons are going to the major, and it's fine. So, guys, like I said, let me know in the comments your thoughts. I'll see you next time. Take care.